Hello, it's D, and I'm finally back with another video. Now, I took some time off. I went to Florida. I just spent time with the family and just decided just to take a break from YouTube. Now, in that time, there's been a lot of stories that have surfaced on Microsoft, and to be honest with you guys, most of them have been negative. Now, I didn't really want to touch all of the negative news, so I've just been relaxing. Now, recently we know, of course, that the Xbox Ally came out. We are going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about Mike Ybarra's comments on the console being dead. We're going to get into that. Now, I want to start off with my response to Doc Dark over on X. Now, we were talking about the Xbox ROG Ally, and a lot of people saying that, oh, it's an Xbox. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, when I'm on X, I'm trolling a lot of these guys, and I'm trolling like a subsection of the fans. Now, when I see some of these bigger content creators or some of these guys posting on X, truly believing that the ROG Ally is an Xbox, I'm flabbergasted. I just gotta be completely honest with you. Now, I'm gonna show today why this ROG Ally is not an Xbox, even though some Xbox fans, they are trying their hardest to convince you that it is indeed an Xbox device. And today, I'm just gonna prove why it is not an Xbox device. I'm also gonna talk about some of the features that are on this Xbox device, like pre-compiled shaders that will really help with Unreal Engine games on this native handheld. I'm also going to show that all handhelds are going to have the same ability. And what if I told you that your ROG Ally right now can do everything that the new one can do? So how would that make this ROG Ally an Xbox when all of the handhelds can do the same things and play the same games? So we're gonna get into that. I'm kind of getting heated already. This might be one of those longer videos, so I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Now, Doc_Dark1985, he said they're so mad. Now, I was talking about the Xbox ROG Ally not being an Xbox, and I said it's not an Xbox. And I responded to him, mad at stupidity, Xbox fans falling for the same stuff over and over again, 100, or I should say 1,000 USD for a handheld that can't even play the Xbox games natively, a handheld that is a PC with an Xbox skin. Nah, we are laughing at you guys for buying this. Also, it's not going to move the needle. Now, he goes on to say, you sound mad that I bought one. I love handheld PCs. I almost looked for another one that was 2K. Don't be mad, it's an Xbox. And then I went on to say that he's a moron and it's not an Xbox. And I will say, sometimes we get heated in these exchanges, and he's not a moron, and I do kind of apologize for that afterwards. He goes, whoa, that's not nice. This is an Xbox. Stop being mad. I said, because it's, or he said, why is this not an Xbox? And stop being mad. And I responded saying, because it's a handheld PC. My ROG Ally right now does the same stuff, plays the same games, and soon will get the same UI. No wonder y'all keep getting shafted by your ignorance. For the same price, you can get a full-built gaming PC that beats this and a PlayStation 5 Pro. Shaking my head, I just gotta laugh. And that was pretty much my conversation with him. I think down here I did say, I'm laughing at your idiocy. You are not a moron, but you're acting like one. So for the record, like, he's a good guy. I don't have any issues with him. Now, we have our back and forth sometimes on X, but it's always respectful. Yes, I called him a moron in the heat of the moment, but I did apologize for it. But at the end of the day, I have nothing personal against him, and I'm going to assume he has nothing personal against me. We just have different views. Now, I'm just sitting back, minding my own business, and I'm seeing that content creators, they're coming out and saying, oh, it's an Xbox. Some content creator posted a video regarding my Asus TUF 5090, saying how I have an Asus branded NVIDIA GPU. So it's kind of comparing it to being the same thing, how I can't call my Asus TUF not an NVIDIA GPU because it is an NVIDIA GPU, and I don't understand how the two things connect. These guys, they really try to cope a lot, and me here on this channel, we're just going to be dealing with facts. Now, here are the facts. It is not an Xbox console because it cannot play Xbox games natively. Now, you hear some guys saying, well, can the PlayStation 5 play all PlayStation games? No, it cannot. I'm talking that the ROG Ally X can't play the current games that are available on the Xbox. I'm not talking about the older games. There are some of the current games that are not available on PC. I'll give you an example. UFC. that game cannot be found on PC. It is only on consoles. NHL 26, 25, all of them. Apart from like way back in the day when they used to bring them on PC, they haven't brought them on PC in a long time. Those games you cannot play on your ROG Ally. Do you know why you cannot play it on your ROG Ally? Because it's not a console. Now, if it was an Xbox console, by default, you would be able to play these games natively on the machine. And then you have the guys that come out and say, well, you can play it in the cloud. I can play those games on my PC in the cloud, on my phone, on my tablet. It doesn't make those devices an Xbox. It just allows you to stream your games to those devices. I can use the PC to stream my PlayStation games. That does not make my PC a PlayStation. Now, if it could play the same games natively, sure, it would make it a PlayStation, but it cannot. It can only play the PlayStation games that are available on PC. And that is no different with this handheld. It can only play the games that are available on PC. The games that you want to play that are from your back catalog that don't have a PC version cannot be played on this handheld. They can only be played on the cloud. And by default, this makes it not an Xbox console. And I don't know how anybody with two brain cells can think otherwise. It's kind of hilarious. So let's just go through some of these posts here. Now, Doc, he responded to me here with this person's video. And I'm not even going to shout this person's video out because it's just ridiculous. You know, I gave you guys the points. They said they're going to make a video. I'll show you some of their posts afterwards, but let's just go to my response. I said, it's an NVIDIA 59 GPU made by Asus. Where do you think the GPU comes from? They all buy them from NVIDIA. Then they slap a cooler on it. The core is an NVIDIA 5090 GPU made by NVIDIA. Asus, Palette, MSI, etc. buy the NVIDIA GPU. Customize the card. They all have to meet the same minimum specifications. NVIDIA releases the update for their cards. You've got to be brain dead to think no 5090 is an NVIDIA GPU. They all are. And these guys are trying to equate that to the ROG Ally, saying, well, Asus makes a 5090. It's still an NVIDIA 5090. So if Asus makes a handheld device and call it an Xbox, it's an Xbox. No, it's not an Xbox because it does not play native Xbox games. It plays the PC versions of the game. It is a PC handheld that conveniently has an Xbox button on it, as well as a grip, a more, Xbox-like grip. So yes, it's kind of customized towards Xbox, but at the same time, it is a PC handheld because all of the other PC handhelds that are out in the market can play the exact same games that the Xbox ROG Ally can play. Because guess what? It's a PC. Any game that's available on PC can be played on these handhelds. They cannot play Xbox games natively. So I don't even know what the argument is all about. Like, I think this is pretty much the end of the story. Now, the one person here, you can see them, I'm not even going to say their name. And, they were saying, oh, you came with ad hominem attacks. And I just said, blah, blah, blah. Prove me wrong. Show me the Xbox ROG Ally playing Xbox games available on the Series XS natively. Please show me how it will run GTA 6 Day 1. Show me it running natively, the Xbox version of NHL 26 or UFC. If you can, then you have proved that it's an Xbox. Until then, we don't really got nothing to talk about. And then, of course, like usual, answer the question, is your Asus RTX 5090 NVIDIA graphics card? Don't dodge it. Don't deflect. What the hell does an Asus RTX 5090 being an NVIDIA card have to do with the ROG Ally not being an Xbox? It's not about the hardware. Listen, if Asus made an Xbox spec'd out handheld that played all Xbox games that are currently available natively, then it would be an Xbox. You would have to call it an Xbox because it's playing the same games natively. But it is not. It cannot play those games natively. It can only play the versions of those games that are available on PC. So I'm not going to address this anymore. These people can make 100,000 videos on why I am wrong. I really don't care. I think at this point in time, it's just common sense that this device is not an Xbox console. It is a PC handheld that plays the Xbox games that are available on PC, that plays the PlayStation games that are available on PC, that plays all games that are available on PC, because guess what? It is a handheld PC device. End of story. Now, I want to move over to some of the capabilities that are being implemented with this new UI, because this new UI, I am excited for it. I'm excited for it to make its appearance on the desktop version of Windows as well as other handheld devices. Now, as of right now, if you have the original ROG Ally, you can subscribe to the Insider program on your device, and you can actually download this new full screen UI experience from Microsoft. Now, the SDK that they have is now available to developers so they can implement it into all of their storefronts. Now, there are some really interesting improvements with this UI, and that includes advanced shader delivery. Now, everybody knows on PC, especially with Unreal Engine games, you get a lot of pre-compiling of the shaders, and you get some shader compilation stutter, and it can make some games very unenjoyable. Now, Microsoft's approach with this new UI is that they do all of the compiling of the shaders in the cloud, and then they deliver it to the device so that you don't have to wait for your device to compile the shaders. It's already done, and this in turn obviously should reduce the amount of compilation stutter that you get in games. Now, I had one user argue with me that that's what makes the ROG Ally X an Xbox, because it's able to do this advanced shader delivery and no other handhelds can do it. That's what makes it an Xbox. So I'm also going to prove right now why this is not the case, why all handhelds are going to be able to do this. And I'm going to prove it with Microsoft's own documentation. Now, like usual, I'll leave a link in the description down below so you guys can check it out for yourself. Now, the article goes on to say, and this was published August 20th, 25, said advanced shader delivery addresses one of the most frustrating challenges for PC gamers today: long load times and disruptive stuttering during a game's first launch. These delays are caused by the need to compile graphics shaders and cache them for future use. For a deep dive on the topic, we recommend reading this article. Now, we have partnered with the teams across Xbox and AMD to pre-compile this data and distribute it on a download time for key titles via the Xbox PC app. Now, the approach not only gets you into your games faster, but it also prevents most instances of stutter that causes performance issues. As an example, Avowed, our engineering teams observed launch times reduced by as much as 85%. That not only means that you're playing your games faster, but your battery life is spent on playtime, not compiling. Our initial launch of advanced shader delivery requires no work from the game studios to integrate, as we expand support across more games and devices. We will collaborate with game developers to integrate the capability directly into the game engines, ensuring games can take advantage of the advanced shader delivery on launch day. Now, they go on to say how it works, and I'll just go through this really briefly. It says a game interacts with the GPU using programs called shaders, which are responsible for things like lighting, textures, physics, and more. These shaders need to be compiled to the GPU-specific format by sending them to the GPU driver in an intermediate form before they can be used. Since these compiled shaders are specific to the game, GPU and driver on a given device, it's not traditionally been feasible to compile in advance. The best option so far is for a game to launch in the form of a loading screen, or else it needs to be done just in time, which can cause stuttering. Now, to circumvent this issue, the DirectX team has created a method to collect the shader data from any given game and package it in a new standardized format called a state of objection database. We have worked with our key hardware partners to separate out the shader compiler from the graphics driver and unite the game data to the SODB with the compiler in the cloud to create a pre-compiled shader database. Now, this can be distributed by the Xbox Store alongside the games to supplement the shader cache. Now, when a game runs for the first time, it will see all the shaders it needs already available in the cache in Windows and can skip doing the compilation step of the gaming device. If a device takes a driver update, we will detect that and update the shader cache automatically. Now, to put it simply, it goes on to say we work with our partners to take the expensive workload and move it from each gaming device into the cloud instead to be distributed at a download time. Now, they kind of show how it works here. Now, we'll go on to say what's next. We are currently focused on supporting the launch of the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X, and we're excited to share that we're releasing the Agility SDK in September. Now, what month are we in right now? This is September. As of me making this video, I think it's September 29th, if I'm correct, and they have released this SDK. Now, they go on to say this will provide both developers and gaming storefronts with the initial set of tools and APIs needed to expand the functionality across the industry. And at that time, we will also provide more details on how developers can engage with the feature for in-market titles. We're also continuing to collaborate with our hardware partners to grow the number of devices that will be able to support the advanced shader delivery. Stay tuned for more details and device expansion in September. So there you have it. All devices, or I should say all PC handheld devices, will be able to run this. Of course, the desktop versions will be able to run this as well. Now, I think this is great for gaming. I think it's going to be great not to have to compile the shaders, and I think it's great for handhelds alike. But this does not make the Xbox ROG Ally an Xbox. It is simply the first device to get it. But like I said, the current ROG Ally right now, you can go into the Insider program and you can get the update to run this new UI on your device. They have said it here in plain English that they are releasing the SDK so other companies can use it. Developers, storefronts, so they can expand the functionality across the industry. So all the handhelds that are available right now will have this feature. It's not a hardware thing because it's done in the cloud. So once again, that device is not an Xbox device. The UI is amazing on it. It kind of streamlines the whole experience on a PC handheld, and I welcome it. But at the same time, it is not an Xbox device. And once again, this device is extremely expensive. $1,000. In Canada, it's $1,300. Now, why am I going to go out and buy this device when nothing that it does I can't do on my current ROG Ally? Sure, you're going to get some better performance. So let's say I get 20 FPS more performance because it has a better GPU, and I'm going to get better battery life. Sure. But at the core, they're both going to play the same games. And I just got to be honest with you, I just don't think that device is going to move the needle. Now, I saw some content creators saying that it was sold out because it was sold out at the Xbox store. It was sold out at the Xbox USA store. It was still available in Canada. It was still available in the UK. And it was still available at all retailers. Like, if you guys really think that $1,000 handheld device is going to move the needle, man, I need to get on that type of cope that you guys have and look in the mirror and think that I look like The Rock, because it's the same level of delusional thinking, because it's not an Xbox, it's very expensive, and I just don't think it's going to move the needle. I think maybe the lower priced one will sell well, but I think a lot of people are probably going after the other device because it offers better performance. But I think the other one, I think it's $600. I think that one offers a good value. So I'm not going to dog that system at all. But once again, it's not an Xbox device. All of the handheld PC devices that are out in the market today can play all of the same games. And none of those devices can play any Xbox games natively. They can only play games that are available on the PC. Why? Because it's a PC handheld device. Okay, so let's just move on from that. And we're going to go over to what Mike Ybarra said on X. Now, his comments lately, or I should say his comments on the post that I'm about to talk about, are very controversial. Now, IGN posted, Sony is calling the PlayStation 5 generation of consoles its most successful to date after reaching a milestone of 136 billion made so far, just under 5 years into its lifespan. Now, there's always this talk that consoles are dying, consoles are dying. Consoles are not dying. The only console that is dying, unfortunately, is the Xbox console. It does not have its identity. I feel it's really lost its identity, and this is showing in the sales. Like I said, I've been kind of out of the loop, so we'll just touch a little bit on some of the Xbox consoles being removed from Costco. So you can't buy these in Costco in the United States. I don't think you can buy them in Costco UK if they're available there, and you definitely can't buy them anymore in Costco Canada because I checked. They're no longer available to be purchased. That is not a good thing. We also know the numbers. We know that the Xbox consoles are not selling well. But when we look at Sony's numbers, right here. They've made 136 billion so far, just 5 years into the generation. We already know that the original Switch sold gangbuster numbers. The Switch 2 is selling good numbers. So it's only Microsoft whose sales are not as good. And I see some people saying, well, they're having the best generation ever. I don't think they're selling more than the Xbox One. So I don't understand how they're having the best generation ever. Now, if you're counting the people that are playing on their cell phones, people that are playing on the cloud, sure, they're getting people that are playing there. But as far as console sales, they're definitely far behind what they have previously sold in other generations. Now, I say that to say this. Mike Ybarra said, but hey, the console market isn't a successful business. It is if you do it right. Now, that's his response to IGN's post. And then someone said, the bitter X. Now, here comes the comment that everybody's losing their minds about. He goes on to say, your console is dead. Now, the comment section just got really hilarious after that. Danny0117 said, everything is a console if you're brave enough. And of course, this is a jab at their slogan that everything is an Xbox, and the argument that I had earlier in this video that the Xbox ROG Ally is an Xbox. Like, it's just delusional. By their same definition, that means a Lenovo Go is an Xbox. That means that the Steam Deck is an Xbox, and all the Chinese handheld PCs that are out there, they're all Xboxes too. It just makes no sense. Now, I don't want to rehash what I said earlier, but it has to be said. Unless it can play Xbox games natively, and I'm not talking about all of the backwards compatible titles. I'm talking about all of the current games. If it can play it natively, so that's all the games that are available on the current Xbox platform. I'm not talking backwards compatible games. I'm talking all of the third-party games, all of the first-party games, second-party, whatever. If it can play all of those games natively, then by definition, it would be an Xbox. But it is not. It only plays PC versions that are available, obviously, because it's a PC. The other versions, you have to play it via the cloud because it's not a console. So anyways, he goes on to say, everything is a console if you're brave enough. And Mike Ybarra responded with, you mean confused enough. And, that's where I'm just going to end today's video. I don't want to sit here and fight and argue with these guys day and night because it just doesn't make sense. You can think I'm dishonest. You can think I'm grifting. You can think I'm disgruntled. I really don't care anymore. I think a lot of Xbox fans, they lack direction. I think a lot of them are delusional. And I think they don't realize that they're being converted over to PC. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't like the way it's being done. It's being done in a very disingenuous way. And these guys are being converted to PC and don't even know it. Like, they're fighting that the Xbox ROG Ally is an Xbox, a freaking PC handheld device. And I don't know what type of coping mechanism they have over there. And I gotta be honest, they're down really bad over there. They're searching for a W so hard, trying to say that Sony first-party games are coming to Xbox, yet we don't hear about any Sony first-party games coming to Xbox. Instead, we hear that Forza Horizon 6 is coming to Xbox. We hear that Flight Simulator is coming to the PlayStation, and it's going to look and run better and have VR support. So your own first-party game is going to look and run better on the competition's device, and it's also going to support the VR that Xbox never got. But they don't want to have the conversation about that. I didn't see any of the Xbox content creators really talking about Forza making an appearance on the PlayStation or Flight Simulator. They kind of like swept it under the rug and they just ran with this Xbox ROG Ally story. And, it's just a mess over there. I'm going to enjoy gaming. So I don't want people to think that I don't enjoy Xbox games. I do. I just don't like the direction that the company is going in. And I've said this ad nauseum. Now, I'm going to continue to play Xbox games, but I'm going to play them on my PC because that's the best place to play the Xbox games. And I have the full suite of PC games, so I get all of the discounts, etc. I get the best looking versions of the game. So for me, the Xbox console is just not viable anymore. Now, the PlayStation console, if all of their games were on PC, perhaps I wouldn't own a PlayStation console. But most of their games are not on PC. And when their games do come to PC, they come like a year 2 years later. So if I want to enjoy these PlayStation games at launch, you know, I decided I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 Pro so I can enjoy the best versions of it. I can get 60 FPS. I don't have to worry about 30 FPS. And therefore, I don't have to dip on PC because I'm getting a very enjoyable experience on the PlayStation platform. And that's why I think going forward that the PlayStation will still be successful. I think that Nintendo will be successful. And I can't really say that Microsoft will be successful. Now, I don't want to rule them out completely because the console isn't out yet, the next generation version of it. So we're going to have to see what that entails and how much it costs. But if this ROG Ally X is $1,000, you better believe that the next generation console is going to be very expensive. Now, if it is a great performing console, maybe the price will justify for the performance that you get. But at the same time, I still don't think that console is going to move the needle. I could be wrong on that. We're going to have to take a wait and see approach. Anyways, I pretty much said everything that I had to say today. I want to know what you guys really think. Do you think that this Xbox ROG Ally is an Xbox? You've heard all the reasons that I've explained today why it is not an Xbox. If you disagree with me, don't just say you disagree with me. Tell me why it is an Xbox console. Tell me in the comments section down below. Also, let me know what you think about Mike Ybarra's comments. Do you think that the Xbox console is dead? That's it. It's just dying a slow death, or it's dead already and it just doesn't know? And also, let me know what you think about the new capabilities from the Xbox UI, or this new update that allows the pre-compiling of shaders in the cloud to be downloaded to your PC handheld device, and of course, in a later date, your PC. Are you excited? Do you think this will help with Unreal Engine 5 games? Once again, let me know in the comment section down below. And like I usually say, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.